All right, Dave, I'm just jumping right in.
Let's
First
do
of
it.
all, okay, I haven't had my hair cut in over a month. I'm letting my Jufro completely go crazy here. Okay. I can see your hair. When was the last time you got a haircut?
So, right before we got the quarantine memo, I think so. I was fortunate enough that it was like the day before. So I don't know if it was like the 8th or 9th of March. And actually, so my hair is so thin. So this is sort of a blessing and curse because a blessing because it's kind of growing in. So I matted it down, Scotty, so it looks better than it really is.
I have so much I want to talk to you about, but I want to start off with this. I've been talking to a lot of people, particularly in sports, about how professionally life is different. So, would you just take me back to the day where you find out that spring training is going away? Everybody's going to disperse, and from that day to where we are today, um, what does a manager of a big league club like the Dodgers do in communication with players and communicating what the future might be? Tell me what's from then to now.
Well, I think that obviously I didn't realize the scope or the magnitude as what when we were in Arizona. Um, you know, in baseball and spring training, you're really mired in the players and just getting ready for the season, and all that's kind of going on outside of our little bubble, I guess, really doesn't land. And so once we had a night game, and that the player Gobert, I think it was his name or whatever, for the the Jazz maybe got pulled off the court. The game was ended, and I got word of that during our game. We had a night game at that point in time, and it was like, whoa, like the NBA is going to stop playing basketball. This is real. So then shortly thereafter, we kind of huddled together with our ownership, and they basically kind of kept CBR, our facility, open, but then sort of encourage everybody to kind of go the separate ways and bracing us for some kind of long-term deal. And honestly, Scott, at that time, I still didn't realize the
Same.
magnitude, right?
Yeah.
And then so now it's just kind of it's our reality, and it's just really crazy to just be, Jackie Robinson Day pass. The season is already kind of going, and you're sitting there where we'd be talking at the ballpark right now, which is um, so now it's just me trying to stay in touch with players, coaches, try to keep them positive, and it's tough because you're staying in touch, but I really don't have anything of substance to tell them because we're dealing with like a bigger government CDC health issue, president, so baseball, so we got to kind of wait. And so basically, and I'll let you kind of interject where I think I'm just kind of holding my hat on the fact that the commissioner's office, Major League Baseball, and the players union on the other side are going to come to some consensus. They have the common goal to play as many games as we can play this season. And so as long as that's kind of set, once we get the green light, then we'll be prepared. So that's what I'm kind of hopeful for.
All right. I could talk baseball and about should you play in Arizona? Should they change the divisions? I mean, we can have that conversation later on. But for now, I think we're all, Dave, trying to do something good. And you live in San Diego, even though you manage the Dodgers. I mean, that's hometown anyway. And there's these stories going around about yourself, Buddy Black, Trevor Hoffman, Manny Machado, and all of the good that's happening in the community. And I want to talk about, because for me, there's a lot of wins here. But the origin of all of this, as I understand it, started with your wife. Can you tell everybody what's cooking here?
Yeah, that's awesome, Scott. So you and I have known each other for a long time, and guys that you had mentioned, a lot of these guys do things, use our platform and resources in ways that are under the radar. And my wife is friends with a lady who runs the nursing department at Scripps. And so basically, just talking to her about how the night shift, these frontliners, first responders, and physicians are having to eat from vending machines. And it's like now their morale's down, they're taxed, they're putting themselves in harm's way, away from their families, and then now they're not getting any dietary, any good food to eat, right? Any substance. So it just really hit me hard and trying to figure out a way that we could help. So basically, we just said, okay, you know what, Paul, we actually ordered in sushi on the Rock the night before. Paul Johnson and his wife Celeste, who have been friends with us, and Scott, you know them for years, and they've catered into the Padres clubhouse and then visiting clubhouse when teams come in. And so it was just kind of the idea of there's only so many things where you can do good and help everyone involved. So now you're looking at the local economy and industry economies and restaurants across our country that are failing, that are fluttering, trying to stay afloat. How can we help them and use their services, and then also help the frontline workers? So it's kind of a win-win. And then Trisha reached out to Buddy and Nan, and Trevor and Tracy were on board, Manny and Yaine, James Shield and his wife. I mean, there's so many people that Nick Hundley and his wife. So there's so many people that has gained traction, which has been so cool. And you guys know, as San Diego guys, man, we rally around one another, whether it's a good thing or sometimes that are tough. And it's been really good to see.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. And everybody's looking for something to do to help. And when you talk about helping, it's one thing to say, hey, I really want to help the frontline workers that are putting their lives on the line, being inside of a hospital facility where, people are coming and might actually test positive. Okay, fine. And they're being taxed and they're working hard and they don't have proper nutrition, especially during that night shift. That's all very sweet. But what happens is where the win-win all takes place, Dave, and I'm so glad you acknowledge it, is, you're taking cash and you're buying meals, which helps keep the restaurant alive. The restaurant then does what it does, which is provides those meals for people that desperately need them at that time of night, because as you're talking about morale and risk and so on. So it all goes round and round here. Money turns into food, which keeps the restaurant alive, which delivers food to these people, which keeps them working hard and keeping us all safe. I mean, it really wins all the way around the community, Dave. It's really very sweet. By the way, these are all guys that you're mentioning that have San Diego ties, obviously, Buddy Black, Trevor Hoffman, but Buddy's in Denver, you're in LA. Are we going to move this elsewhere?
Yeah, absolutely, Scott. And I'm happy you said that, because my team president, Andrew Friedman, heard this, and his wife. And so he was like, we want to be on board. And so Trish and I are doing some stuff with restaurants up there in Los Angeles and helping different hospitals up there, UCLA Health, and just other different hospitals. And that's the thing, is that where people just don't realize, you got Apple and Google teaming up. You've got ABC, NBC, CBS teaming up for funds. It's not about what team you play for, who you're affiliated with. This is way bigger than this. And it's like, we all need to do our part. It's not a Padre Dodger thing. It's about whatever we can do, whoever we are, we can all help in some capacity. So yeah, Blackie's with the Rockies now. Trev's obviously still affiliated with the Pods, and it doesn't matter. It's like we're all trying to do our part.
As a guy who grew up in San Diego, who now manages in LA, you ever drive around LA and think to yourself, gosh, this is such a different world. Like San Diego, and when I'm in LA, I almost feel like LA doesn't even realize San Diego exists. And yet it's only, 90 to 100 miles apart. Yet these are two totally different worlds. How is living in LA when you're there as a San Diego native?
Well, for me, it's very linear in the sense of my day-to-day, my life during the season. It's kind of go from home to the ballpark, back to home, and kind of do the same thing over again. Just living in a quiet neighborhood. I don't kind of have to deal with the traffic, essentially. And it's very kind of simple for me. So I definitely understand that. But LA or San Diego always is that destination point for everyone in the world, country, and especially those that live in LA, because you see that traffic down the 5, man, on Saturday. It's brutal. Everyone wants to come to San Diego, but it is good to see kind of lines being kind of crossed right now.